Just a couple of weeks ago, I faced 2 financial challenges in less than a week. In matter of fact, I think it was within a 3-day period. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how I navigated those challenges and some of the strategies you can put in place to be able to do the same. Hello everyone, my name is Ethan Rushock, and you may have noticed I've been a bit quieter on the channel over the last couple of weeks. I've definitely been dealing with some interesting challenges that have popped up. You may have also seen some of the exciting news I dropped the other day that me and my wife are expecting a baby within just a couple of weeks' time. So with all of that in mind, these financial challenges happened at quite an interesting time for us, but we're able to navigate them without the financial stress that they could have caused if we weren't prepared. So today I'm going to go through the 2 things that happened, and these things happened on a Saturday night, and I believe it was a Tuesday afternoon. So within just a couple of days of each other, and they both could have been incredibly costly, and one of them actually was, and they definitely could have put a strain on our finances, especially considering we're going back to one wage soon. But we have things in place that made it a much less stressful thing than it could have been. So let's talk about the first one, and you'll probably see it from the thumbnail, but unfortunately we were involved in a car accident. Thankfully, we're all good. That was all good. But the car itself definitely had some damage. It wasn't really drivable. Well, it started, but you definitely couldn't have drove it. As you can see, all the front left-hand side was pretty smashed up, and the accident happened on the highway, and we hit a kangaroo. It come out of nowhere, it come across the car, and bang, hit on the front left thing, so we just clipped it, but it was enough that it caused quite a bit of damage there. So there wasn't really much we can do about it. It's just one of those freak accidents that all of a sudden you were driving, it's about 8:30 at night, and bam, you've hit a roo. Like, if you had to hit the brakes, you could have even caused more damage. If you had to swerve, who knows what would have happened. But thankfully, we were all okay, but the car was definitely damaged. So the first thing was, well, what do we do? So obviously we got in touch with our insurance, and I guess that brings me to my first point on how you can definitely alleviate some stress when you have issues, is do you have insurance? Is it adequate? And do you understand what it covers? So thankfully we had full comprehensive insurance on the car. So while it was definitely a stressful event, obviously once we got past it, okay, we're all healthy, then you go, okay, now what? Now what's the issue? How do we get this fixed? You know, you get a hold of the insurance, and insurance is always a long process to deal with. We still don't have the car back, and it's been about 3 weeks now. But the thing is, we knew that, okay, the maximum this is going to cost us is $800, which was our excess figure. So you're kind of capping what the cost is going to be to at least hopefully fix the car, or at least pay out your loan or get some kind of replacement. At least you know, all right, there is a maximum and that's going to be my excess as a starting point. The thing with us is we go, okay, we like our car. There was no reason to change it. We've got another car that works perfectly fine at home, so we didn't need to panic and do that. We had family that offered to borrow cars, etc. So for us, we could have rushed down going, oh, even if this is fixable, we're going to go buy another car and we're going to upgrade. Oh, what a good excuse to upgrade. But the reality was, we had a perfect car that we were definitely happy with. Let's just pay the excess. It is fixable, so the insurance have organised that. It's going to be fixed in a couple of weeks' time. Why go and spend another $50,000 on a new car? That's going to be way more expensive than the $800 excess. So I think that's what you sometimes got to consider when you're in a financial challenge, a financial emergency, is do ask yourself, what is the best way for me to do this? Was I going to upgrade car? If we were looking to upgrade anyway, well then, okay, yep, look, it probably is a good time. But if you had no intentions to upgrade, why spend that extra money? Why take on an extra loan or chew into all your savings if you can just pay the excess, get it fixed, and maybe you're without a car for 4 to 6 weeks, but you end up in the same position less your excess? So it was definitely a stressful event, but us having the right insurance and also having the cash there that we knew we could cover our excess made it real no stress from a money point of view. The timing wasn't good for us with a baby on the way, etc. But at least we didn't have the financial stress hanging over our head. And as I'm about to talk about the next situation, it was definitely good that that financial stress wasn't too large. So as I said, just a couple nights later in the afternoon/night, I was doing some moving around in the lounge room and stepped on our carpet and noticed my sock instantly went wet. Which if you have water in your lounge room, that's not normally a good sign. And long story short, I ended up working out we had a leak coming out of our bathroom that was coming through our double brick walls onto the ground in the lounge room. This one was definitely a very different stress. So while there was no safety issues, I definitely straight away thought, oh, this could be very expensive, because I knew that insurance likely probably won't cover all of this. So my first point of view was talk to some friends and family that may know more about it. We looked at the issue, tried to work out what was happening. Pretty clearly worked that there must be a leak behind our shower that is obviously somehow getting through into our lounge room. Not good, needs to be fixed, because obviously we don't want wet carpet that's going to cause mold, etc. We also don't want a leaking water, so that's going to cost us extra in water. This needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed ASAP. Now, the insurance was a bit of a hard thing to deal with this one, but long story short, they didn't cover the cost to repair the issue. So they don't cover burst pipes. They don't cover the intrusive work to get to that. So obviously all the tiles had to be ripped off our shower, etc. So this ended up costing us over $4,000. So it was a very expensive thing that at the end of the day, we're not getting anything new from it, etc. All we've done is repair an issue. So it was a pure repair and it's cost us over $4,000. The good thing is the insurance will cover any damage that this has caused. So the damage for us was the carpet. So there was mold when they did check that. Obviously the water's been sitting under it. It's caused that. So yesterday, actually, we went and picked out our carpets, and this would have cost us well over $2,000 just for probably the carpet alone. Then by the time it got done, so we're probably looking at least $3,000 here. Now, our excess is $1,000, so we have to pay that out. But again, at least we knew that we could cover our excess, and we had the money to pay for the repairs. We ended up managing to find someone that could start the repairs on the same day, and within 3 days of discovering the issue, it was all fixed. The tiling had been done. We just had to wait for it to dry. But at least it was sorted. And for us, we were on a short time frame, so we needed something to get done, even if we paid a premium. Something we definitely discussed was like, how do people do this if they don't have the funds? We're very lucky that we've put ourselves in a financial situation where we either have extra money on our loan so we can redraw off that, or we have some money into a savings account, etc. We have future goals. We want to buy a bigger house one day. We obviously want to eventually upgrade cars. We want to go on holidays. All these things that we want to do, which requires money. So we keep saving. We want to make sure we're putting ourselves in a situation where we can keep saving. And sometimes you may have to chip into those for emergencies like this. And I did a video ages ago talking about emergency funds, so go and check that out. But it doesn't matter how your emergency fund is structured. You just want to be able to pull money from somewhere, whether that is from a loan redraw, whether it's from a savings account, whether it's from a dedicated emergency fund. If you can pull the money and you can pay for something then and there. So the good thing for us, if we didn't have the money, we may have had to save for it, or maybe we had to take on credit card debt, etc. Instead, obviously it wasn't ideal. We would have rather not had to pay it out. We pull out our savings account, we pay for it, it's done, we move on. So I think that's a really important thing across all your finances, is don't stretch yourself so thin that if something goes wrong, you have no strategy on how you're going to cover it. What I've really learnt from these two incidences is it's really important to make sure if you can't afford to replace something in full, that you've got the adequate insurance. So car insurance is a prime example. Unless you've got the money to go and completely replace your car, you definitely want to have comprehensive insurance so that you can cover yourself. With home insurance, understand what's covered. That's probably something I wasn't sure about, especially for an issue like this. So understand, what does your insurance cover and what could go wrong that the insurance doesn't cover. And therefore, this leads into number 3. How will you pay for things when you aren't covered? You know, if you've got a $4,500 repair, what is your strategy if that happens? So it's all well and good to stretch yourself so thin and buy a big, massive house. But what happens if something goes wrong? Because it doesn't matter if it's a new house or an old house, there are still risks that can go wrong. So you need to make sure you've got funds or have a plan that you can start to build up a buffer. That way, if something goes wrong, it's not as big a financial stress. I hope this video has been interesting to you. It was definitely a challenging week, but we got through it. And I think that comes down to planning and making sure that you're just not stretching yourself too thin. I'd love for you to go and check out some of the other videos on my channel. And if you've enjoyed this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys again soon.